METAL TALLÁN.
Ok, queridos amigos de Metal Tallán, estamos el día de hoy, de verdad, muy entusiasmados porque vamos a conversar con una banda muy interesante que nos ha demostrado a través de su material que en realidad son una gran banda. Estamos hablando de Abated Mass of Flesh y acá tenemos a nuestro amigo Zach. Hello, Zach, how are you?
I am doing well. How are you?
Excellent. I'm happy to interview Abated Mass of Flesh.
Yeah, I'm glad we were able to finally get it going. I know we had to do a little bit of rescheduling, but here we are.
Okay, tell us about the beginning of the band. When you start?
We started in 2011. At that time, it was a solo project that I started, just writing some death metal and slam, brutal death metal stuff in my bedroom. And that was 2011. And the next year, I were on lead vocals, so at Together.
Was born? Where?
So
Where?
we
Excuse
are
me.
south, yeah, south of Middle Tennessee.
In Tennessee, I hear you.
Yeah, so there's like Nashville, Music City, Tennessee, and we live, at least we started about an hour south of that, out in more of the country area, out of the city.
Um, how is the Tennessee um noisy scene?
It is actually quite peaceful where we live. Of course, Nashville is usually busy. There's a lot going on. There's a lot of partying downtown, a lot of music events, and just endless, like countless events. But we live about an hour away from Nashville, so we're not in the city. We're more in the country, so it's quiet here, and it's actually really quite peaceful where we live.
And the noisy scene is uh, has a lot of noisy bands, or you are the first?
Well, so we kind of our stomping grounds are in a little town called Murfreesboro, which is probably about 30 minutes away from Nashville. That's kind of where we meet and practice and kind of where we have more of an established music scene, or at least there's a lot of hardcore bands, a lot of bands in the deathcore genre, but there aren't many bands playing brutal death metal or slamming brutal death metal or grindcore or anything like that. We kind of seem to be the only ones doing that style of music here locally.
In that case, Abated Mass of Flesh uh, has a lot of slang and brutal death metal influence.
Yes, yeah. Yeah,
Maybe
and like probably a little bit of death, just like more traditional death metal. We don't play traditional death metal, but that's a big influence in our taste and genres and like, that kind of style. So we do a little bit of death metal, but a lot of like slam oriented and brutal death metal sort of style.
in pandemic, what did the band do?
So that we just got off a tour from out west. We were touring, it was a short run for about a week. And being on the road, the pandemic was starting to happen and about halfway through the tour. And we were out in Las Vegas when lockdown was instated here in the States. So we got back home from tour and everything was different. It was like the roads were empty. Um, all the policies were implemented. There's just a lot changing, so fast. And for us as a band, we were not getting many shows. A lot of festivals and promoters were doing more virtual shows. So we would, play over like a, webcam for festivals or certain shows like that, um, and not getting a whole lot of shows. So after that, we kind of had a little bit of lineup changes and just kept writing through that time. So we were just writing music and eventually acquired some new members and kind of started doing a lot more as things started opening and getting somewhat back to normal.
Have you ever go out to your country to play?
Like another country.
Yes, to play.
Yeah, yeah, we actually played Mexico City twice in 2015 and 2017. They have a festival out there called Fest in in the mountains of Mexico City near a pretty big volcano. It's like a kind of like a recreational park sort of area, and they have like a massive stage put out there and host bands that fly in. And so we had the opportunity to play that twice, but that was the only time, we've traveled internationally or anything like that. So
How do you feel in that experience?
we were overwhelmed with, we were overwhelmed. Like people were really excited for us to be there. Um, a lot of people wanted to see us play, so we didn't know what to expect because we've had never played an international festival before, and we didn't know like what the music scene was like in Mexico City. But the people in Mexico City were very, very sweet people, very welcoming, and extremely passionate about music, especially extreme metal. And there was a pretty substantial goth scene there. So there was a lot of folks into like goth music, but a lot of extreme brutal metalheads out there who wanted to see us play and take pictures and have us sign stuff. And we were just like, we weren't expecting any of that. So it was definitely a memorable experience.
you guys so much. Thank you.
Okay, Isaac, tell more about your travel in Mexico.
Yeah, so we had never traveled out of the country before, and 2015 was our first trip out there. Um, and we were just overwhelmed with how welcoming everyone was. They have a very intense, extreme love for extreme metal in Mexico. And there was also a pretty substantial goth scene as well. There was a lot of people who were into gothic metal and things like that, but a lot of death metal and grindcore out there. And so we were welcomed by the people of Mexico City. And yeah, after we played, everyone wanted to like take pictures and have us sign things, and they really made us feel welcome. So it was a great experience for sure. And we went a couple years later, and it was the same thing, only a lot bigger. We didn't know how we'd be received there, so it was definitely a great experience. A lot of good memories too.
I hope the band will return to Mexico and to another countries, maybe in South America, a tour. Maybe
Oh
in
yeah,
South
that would be
America
great.
there are a lot of bands of noisy bands and fest in Colombia, Peru, my country, Argentina, Chile, Brazil. There are a lot of fests. I hope you will be here soon.
I hope so. I know that South America has a pretty large extreme metal scene. So
Uh, what uh, what are the lyrics talking about?
the lyrics of the band.
Yes.
So in 2011, when I started the project, I started to write a lot about my beliefs as a Christian. So a lot of the lyrics were Christian based in the beginning of the band. Things changed over the years with, personal insight and just how, I came to realize certain things and certain worldviews have changed. But I've always written from personal experiences. So some songs had to do with my faith in Christianity, and other times it had to do with more personal struggles. And some lyrics are kind of about society, um, and just, human nature and things like that. But it's always kind of been rooted around what's been going on in my head, and personal beliefs and things like that. But yeah, like I said, it was probably 2017 when we began to start taking a different approach to writing. Like I said, my beliefs began to change, so we started to write about some different subjects. But Christianity is still a very important part of who we are as a band, because it shaped us into who we are today. And we still play a lot of that material live. We still play a lot of our older material and things like that too. So it is important to us. We're just not, convinced of the beliefs at the moment, and just the way things changed over the years with us as a band, our lyrics changed as well. But we still try to stay relatively positive about a lot of the content we write about too. So yeah, that's kind of the messy way, I guess, of trying to explain that massive transition in our band.
Do you think that uh, the things that occurs in pandemic, like jobless, fear, death, divorces, suicidalness, I don't know. Do you think those topics influence to you to make a new lyrics, and, and, uh, and a new song?
Yeah, actually, I think so, because after the pandemic, I had mentioned earlier that we started writing, um, and I wrote an EP called "The Dead Will Never Forgive Us," and that was kind of a little bit of a darker release, because I kind of dug into some family stuff with that, and just, you know, personal struggles, like I mentioned earlier, and things like that, talking about society, and things were changing, and everybody was uncertain, how everything was going to go or turn out. And so it was a very unpredictable time, even for us as a band. So I think some of that came across in the writing. And then I guess it was maybe a year or two later, we wrote the album, The Existence of Human Suffering, where we wanted to hear from like our fans and supporters' stories. So they sent us personal stories, and it was about anything, about their faith in Christianity, or about suffering, or suicide, or drug abuse, or whatever. And we just took those lyrics and wrote songs about them, and kind of made that release about the fans and for the fans. So, just, I guess, touching on loss and suffering and things like that kind of became more apparent after the pandemic.
Yes, in pandemic, like you said, you participated in virtual festivals, and bands make started to make this action to participate in virtual fest, in compilation, in splits, and other virtual ways of participate to play. And this was the first time that a band who lives in other countries have the opportunity has the opportunity to to show their music and brutal music to the other countries over the world. Maybe you are thinking to make a virtual face to, for example, Filipino and Asian people, South American people, I don't know.
Yeah, when we did the virtual fest, actually, that was for Exodo in Mexico City as well. Like I said, they do that every year. And, we went there twice. And then the third time, I think, was that virtual festival. But that was like the only one that we've done. If I understanding your question correctly, that was pretty much the extent to what we did when it came to doing Virtual Fest. But we also did like Facebook live streams or like YouTube live streams and things like that before we started getting back into venues and playing shows again.
Okay.
But
Let
I think
me,
that you're right, though. It was a good
yes.
experience for bands to kind of get more well known internationally that way because, I mean, everybody was doing it. Seemed like a lot of bands were doing that. And if they were larger bands, they were like doing a big live stream event for their fans and stuff to pay and watch or whatever. But yeah, a lot of underground bands were doing those international sort of virtual festivals. So
Let me tell you, in the side of the people who watch the videos of our favorite bands, uh, we feel so happy in pandemic when many of them uh, have the opportunity to watch your band, to buy another brutal bands that it will be so difficult or
hmm.
impossible to watch you in a live concert.
Yeah, no, that's encouraging to hear because I know it was. I mean, it was hard to travel and still is hard to travel. It's very expensive to try to
Yes.
travel internationally as a band, and I don't know, like it doesn't seem like there's a whole lot of opportunities, and we all stay pretty busy here at home with our families and our jobs and things like that. So it's really hard to try to carve out time to make something like that happen, but we would love to actually be there in person because for me, like, there's nothing like meeting people face to face. It's good to like, see bands virtually and be able to connect with people in some way, but it's not the same as talking face to face with other people. And I've always loved that. And that was what made the Mexico Festival so special was to be able to connect with people that have been into our band for quite some time and actually see us. And I'll actually say the first time we went there, we didn't have a full band. The full band couldn't make it, so we were going to cancel. But my brother Matthew, he said, "No, we need to make it happen. Like let's go out there and make it happen for them." So I said, "Okay." We had a few weeks to prepare, and I started programming our drum tracks for all of our set list, and just to play them over the speakers, over the PA, and we practiced and got it ready. So we went with an iPod and they ran it through their sound system, the drum tracks. And I went with my guitar and he did the vocals. So it was just the two of us on this, big stage. And yeah, people came out and loved it. And, I felt bad about the performance because we weren't able to bring the whole band and make a great event, a first impression for our first international show. And, was kind of feeling bad about it. But after we were done, like they were so inviting, like you said, just so very appreciative of us being there. And, they loved it and they wanted to talk to us. And it was a fantastic experience, regardless, despite not having the full band there.
Excellent. And when you go to Mexico, when maybe did you uh, get the traveler disease, the stomach ache, the food maybe makes you feel sick? I don't know.
Oh,
Would
yeah, actually, that first time, um, we did get a little sick. So the first time, my brother Matt got sick, and the second time we went in 2017, I got sick. So yeah, we both ended up getting sick, but it was like a stomach bug sort of thing. I know, like traveling internationally, um, you just you know pick up stuff a little easier, and I guess we had both gotten like a stomach bug from traveling. Yeah, but the food was amazing. Like, you know, the food and everything there was great. And we just ended up getting a little sick from something. So we don't know exactly what it was, but it did clear up, thankfully, pretty quick. So,
In Peru, we have the best delicious dishes in the
oh, I'm
world.
sure. Yeah,
You
I'm
have to taste.
sure. Yeah. It would be incredible to try some Peruvian cuisine for sure.
Yes, yes, international. Okay, friends, we are watching the Bandcamp account of Abated Mass of Flesh. There are lots of releases and singles. It's okay.
Yeah, we have a few singles sprinkled in there. Yeah, all of that was pretty much everything we started working on from 2011 with that first release there, Moth and Rust in the Temple of Putridity. And yeah, my brother and I were doing this for quite a while. You know, I would program the drums for each release and do all the music, recording, production. And it was just me and him grinding it out until we got to the Omen King album. And that's when we finally got a bass player and a drummer. And that established us as a full lineup and not just a two-man project. But we still went on to do some more two-man releases after that, here and there, which you'll see sprinkled in throughout the discography.
Okay. Who is your designer artwork?
So if you look at the top here, the last three releases are done by outside artists. Um, I do not remember the names of Rebirthing the Vile and but I do remember The Existence of Human Suffering was done by the artist Ari Satan, I believe. If I could be mixing him up with another artist. But Doomed Inception was done by Tony Cole.
Thank you.
has done a lot of works for the Black Dahlia murder, Waking the Cadaver, just a lot of Severed Records bands and brutal death metal bands across the genre. So we finally got to work with him because we've admired his work for quite some time. But all of the other releases you see there were done by myself. I handled the graphic design work for all of the other releases. It was only within the last few years we started hiring outside artists to try to give us a little bit of a different look and perspective. Yeah.
There's another concept.
For sure.
Are there in those releases any conceptual release or album?
Let me think about that. I'm trying to remember. I don't think any of them were conceptual as far as storytelling goes, but
Yes, in those.
the existence of human suffering was one that was about, collective experiences from our supporters. And yeah, but I don't think we haven't written a concept album to this day, so.
Maybe you are some critics about your Christian thinking thoughts, or that you receive maybe in magazine or people, I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, we've had a lot of criticism regarding that. Not so much in the beginning. As a believer, when I started the band, there was a lot of support from the Christian community and the secular community. So, we kind of had a balanced support there. People didn't care about the lyrics. They just wanted to hear something, brutal and nasty and intense. And Christians were just thrilled to have, something that they could listen to that was brutal and intense too. So there wasn't a whole lot of criticism in the beginning, but like I said, it was around 2017 after Eternal Harvest when my beliefs and mindset started to change. And I didn't wake up one day and just decide I'm not going to be a believer anymore. It was a very gradual process for me that wasn't easy. And I think that a lot of our Christian fans see that as, something that I just woke up and decided that I didn't want to believe anymore. But it was a very painful, hard process to go through the deconstruction of the belief that I held on to for so long, for 25 years of my life, and dedicated a lot of the lyrics in this band towards. Like I said, it was very important to me, and it still is very important to me, but I had basically become convinced that I didn't believe it anymore, and I had to be honest with myself, and I had to be honest with our fans about it. And a few years ago, it didn't go too well. Certain fans were not receptive towards that news. And yeah, there were articles written and, of course, the comments and all the negative feedback and all the harsh critics and stuff, of course, come with that. And, we just had to fight through it and say, you know what, we are who we are. All we can do is be honest with people, who want to know about our beliefs. I know that our band is important or was important for so many people, and we would like for our band to still hold some kind of place in people's heart in one way or another, and we're very grateful for the support. But we've also had Christians too who are very appreciative for us being honest. There's our fans that still pray for us and hope the best for us. And we're very thankful for that. We're not out here trying to make enemies. We're not out here trying to hate on Christians or hate on Christianity. Like I said, I just write lyrics about my experience and our personal experiences. And, yeah, so there's definitely been a lot of criticism in the lyrical direction. But like I said, this band's been a very important creative outlet for me for so long. And I'm just going to continue to, write about what I believe in and what I go through in life. So yeah.
But in the short thinking, Christian thinking, when you use a cross in your artwork with brutal metal music, then you are satanic.
Yes. Oh, yeah. Yeah, there was a little bit of that in the beginning too, especially with the gory artwork and things like that too. Um, Certain people didn't understand it. It was, how can you sound like this and be Christian? How can you have these graphic album covers and be Christian and things like that? So yeah, there was a little bit of that criticism in the beginning too. But I
And
think our
they
sound,
don't read the lyrics too.
right, yeah, and that's another thing too. They don't think that something could be Christian because of the way it looks or the way it sounds. They're not really judging it based on its content. They're judging it based on how it looks and sounds, and
Yes.
can't always do that. But yeah, there was a little bit of that, but I think they understood that we were dedicated to the underground, and people in the underground metal scene just appreciated what we were doing with that. So yeah, that was basically the gist of it.
Yes, I understand. Um, if you receive in your cell phone a message that say you have only 5 minutes to run to a bunker because there is a nuclear explosion, and what of those releases do you choose to your last days?
That's a good question. I love that. I love that. Um,
Only one, please.
Only one. Oh, geez. Okay. Only
It's
one. I
more
know
difficult to you.
it's kind of lame to say the most recent album, right? Because every band wants to promote their latest release, and we're in a spot now to where we feel, the best we've ever been as a band, as far as band members getting along. We had a great time writing it. But I got to try to get a little creative with this answer. And I'll do that by figuring out which album is the most important to me personally, since I'm the one who's choosing the record for the bunker, right? So let's scroll down a little bit and see if I can take a trip down memory lane to see where I was at with some of these. Um,
Don't
well,
think so much.
yeah.
Oh, you have 1 minute to choose
Oh no.
and
Yeah,
run.
the bomb's about to go off, right? I better hurry up. I would probably have to go with abhorrent postmortal vicissity. And I say that because my brother and I were in very difficult positions in our lives, I think, at that time.
This
Um,
leaf, this leaf release.
Two over to the right, two more down. Abhorrent postmortal vicissity next to violence, in between grave charmer and violence.
Our
Yeah,
postmortem.
yeah, that one right there. So our lives were kind of changing as far as just our personal lives, relationships,
Ah.
and we were very kind of frustrated, maybe a little angry, and we wanted to just put something out that was disgustingly heavy, very brutal and very raw. And I remember my brother came to me and he said, "We need to write a straight up slam, gore, brutal type of album." And I was like, "Okay, let's do it." And like I said, he was kind of, we were just at that age. We were in a position trying to figure our lives out. So much was changing for us so fast, and I think we poured some of that frustration into that release. And some of the lyrics, I think are very potent, so to speak. So yeah, I'd probably have to grab that one. Yeah, just it's just a special thing between my brother and I think, with that release.
This cover art is very related with you.
Yeah, yeah, you could say that. Yeah, it's when I designed it, I we definitely wanted a gory album cover. but we wanted something that kind of resembled some light at the end of the tunnel, so to speak. The lyrics are dark, and I should say that I went through a lot of anxiety. I think with an anxiety disorder for some time now, for over the years, and that was one of the reasons why I started the band, because of my mental health, and anxiety was really bad. And I wrote a lot about that throughout these releases. And this was in the height of that too. So I think that just having the gore and the corpse on the autopsy table just resembling the filth and the hardship of life and how ugly things can be, with the spirit kind of coming out of it to show that things will get better, and there is life beyond your current situation. And fun fact, that's actually me on the cover. Obviously I wasn't dismembered and splattered, but the spirit coming out of the gore, that's my body, my torso. It's not my head, but
Yes.
it's my arms, my back, arms and back. I photoshopped myself kind of coming out of that too. So little fun fact there. And
Yes.
it's a short release. It's a
A-
fairly
and
short.
and the next will be the reincarnation.
Reincarnation?
Yes, the next release
Oh yeah.
relating with this cover art.
Yeah, for sure.
The next step.
The next step. Yeah. No, that would be really cool. And I guess, it's to do something like a concept album like that would be cool too.
Wow.
That and I think you just kind of gave me a little bit of an idea with that, because I never really sat down and thought about doing a concept album, but it would be really cool to try to think about an interesting story to tell, whether it's about my personal experience or
Wow.
something original. So yeah, we'll see, but I do like that idea a lot.
That will be good.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. I am remembering the first time when I found the band, Abated Mass of Flesh. I I see that cover art and it impressing me a lot. That was the first time when I find you, and
Oh, that's
I
cool.
was listening your music, finding, searching in your social media. Um, I am glad to interview you for this time. Uh, I hope you uh, have a lot of gigs and tours. And if you have news about the band, new releases, a promo video, please share to us. For that platform is for that reason to share all the noise about the world. Please don't worry. I I this platform, this program is for that reason. And I hope you don't give us your music is very well, and your thinking yourselves too. Please, your last words.
That's very kind of you. Thank you so much. Like honestly, I really appreciate that. And that's, if I had to say any last words, it's my gratitude and appreciation for everyone that supported us. Um, because we go to shows, and it's been a very busy year for us. Since our last release, Rebirthing the Vial, we've been playing a lot of shows, and it's great.
Yeah.
But it can be a challenge sometimes, and creatively things can get hard when you're not feeling motivated, and life just gets too busy. But when you go to a show and you're not feeling your best, and somebody comes up just like yourself, who's been a fan of our band for years, and they want to share their experience about how much our band meant to them, um, and tell their personal stories, and just buy up all the merch and want us to sign things and talk with us for forever.
A
It's a
teacher with that cover art, please.
Oh yeah.
It's
Yeah,
excellent, that
yeah,
cover art.
we sold out of those. We actually had the abhorrent postmortal vicissity shirts. We might have
Excellent.
to get some more printed soon. But I'm just really thankful and overwhelmed by the amount of support from our supporters and fans who give me the encouragement and give us all the encouragement to want to keep
Yes.
going and do this. So we're very thankful for that. And yeah, I guess with where we're at now, we're writing a new album and going through some demo material right now. And then we're going to start recording probably towards the end of the year for a 2026 release.
Wow.
And yeah, so we're just trying to think about what we can do differently and coming up with some pretty awesome stuff so far. So we're excited to show the world what we've been working on.
Excellent. Good news. Good news. Okay, my friend. Thank you for your time. Congratulations for the band. And don't give up again. Thank you a
Thank
lot.
you. Thank you, Fernando. It was nice meeting you.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.
I believe in the evil in human nature. This is a wicked world. And in a wicked world, wicked people are born.